Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you're watching this video on the day it goes up. Hopefully you're all having a safe and a fun holiday. But Season 1 has been out for a bit now, right? I think we've had a decent amount of time to level up the new DLC weapons and try out even more weapons after the latest weapon tuning. And in turn, today, we're going over the best class setups to use here in Season 1, just like we did for Warzone a few days back. And by the way, if you haven't checked that one out, it is live on the channel now. But hopefully this gives you a good idea of what weapons to rank up and focus on, because I think right now, there's definitely a few big standouts for Cold War MP. So as we go through all the classes, if you enjoy the video at any point, or if you just find it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here, or if you're watching and you're not already subscribed, this is the place to be to stay on top of everything going on in Call of Duty. From news to intel to tips and setups, everything like that, you're gonna find it right here. So feel free to subscribe as we are on the road to 669k subs. Now, getting into the first setup today, this one features the brand new Groza assault rifle, and I like to pair this with the Akimbo Diamattis, aka the Diamattis, aka the Diamatti Spaghettis. Now, the Groza is an assault rifle, but to me, it feels a whole lot like an AR SMG hybrid. It definitely excels the most in those closer and medium range fights, whereas at longer ranges, it's probably going to be outclassed by a few other rifles, the LMGs, etc. So in that sense, I try to play with it like it is an SMG. I am a bit more aggressive with it, and I find it works out pretty well. And then the Diamattis, well, we all know just how good these are over in Warzone, right? And here in Cold War MP, they're also incredibly good for CQB fights. They pretty much just melt everyone, but for what it's worth, all the secondaries we've got today are pretty interchangeable with any of the primaries. But on the Groza, my go-to setup right now consists of the Microflex LED. This is probably my favorite optic in the game. It's just like a basic red dot, but I find it looks pretty clean. Then I've got the GRU composite barrel for better range and bullet velocity, the 40-round speed mags for some extra ammo and for a faster reload, of course. And I'm also using the GRU elastic wrap for better mobility, and finally the CQB pad stock for a better sprint to fire time. Now on the Diamattis, I've got the infantry compensator for vertical recoil control, the task force barrel for better damage, range, and bullet velocity, the 5mW laser for better accuracy, the salvo 30-round fast mags, then finally the akimbo option, because in this situation, 2 is most definitely better than 1. Then for my perks and equipment, this is actually the same on all of my setups, so we're just going to go over it once here. But I've got the stim shot and the semtex for my tactical and lethal, the field mic for my field upgrade. Then for perks, I do run perk greed for my wild card, and here I've got tac mask and flak jacket in perk 1, quartermaster and scavenger in perk 2, then finally ghost and ninja in perk 3. Now, moving on to class number 2, this one features the AK-74U, then also the Hauer shotgun. Now, the 74U is probably the best SMG in multiplayer, at least in my mind. After the MP5 was nerfed a bit ago and it lost its insane range, I feel like the 74U really came into the meta and kind of took it over, because despite it being an SMG, it also has really good damage and range to go along with its mobility. So when you combine all that together, you get a very, very consistent weapon that is great for a variety of gunfights. Then the Hauer is just a really strong CQB weapon. You know, it's a 1 to 2 hit depending on the range, and it's also very agile as well, so this class in general is super good for playing aggressive. Now on the 74U, I am running the Spetsnaz compensator for better control, the task force barrel for better damage, range, and bullet velocity, the Spetsnaz grip for better control, the 50-round fast mag, and then also no stock for better mobility as well. Then on the Hauer, I've got the task force barrel for better damage, the 5mW laser for better accuracy, the 6-round tube mag because, honestly, why not? Then I also have the airborne elastic wrap for a better ADS time, better flinch resistance, and the ability to go prone and aim at the same time. And finally, I've got the marathon stock for better mobility all around. Then class number 3 is probably one of, if not the single best setup in Cold War multiplayer right now. This one is all about the AK-47 and then also the Gallo shotgun. The AK-47 is the best rifle and probably the best primary in the game. Then the Gallo is just a powerhouse secondary that is perfect for close range situations. Now the AK-47 in Cold War is just an absolute gem, alright? It's got almost no recoil, the range is insane, the damage is incredible, and all that factored in, this just dominates game in and game out. It's incredibly versatile, and it's just pretty much unstoppable. Then the Gallo sort of has that fear factor, almost kind of like the doof doof over in Modern Warfare and Warzone, just because when you hear it spamming, you know it's probably going to be a very rough engagement if you're on the other end of it. So when you put these two weapons together, it is a swift GG, no doubt about it. So on the AK, I am running the Spetsnaz compensator for the same reasons as before. I've got the VDV reinforced barrel for better range and velocity, the Spetsnaz grip once again, the 40 round speed mag, and then finally the GRU elastic wrap for better mobility. Then for the Gallo, I've got the Task Force barrel, the 5mm laser, the 9-round tube, the Serpent wrap for a better aim down sight time, then finally the Marathon stock once more. Now, as we get into the remaining classes, really we're just focused on the primaries now, and then for the secondaries on these, honestly, I'd suggest just using any of the previous 3 that we just covered. But class number 4 is all about the Krig rifle, and this is another great rifle here in multiplayer, probably number 2 in my mind behind the AK-47. This thing is really agile for a rifle, it's got almost no recoil, pretty decent damage, and it's super consistent in nearly any kind of gunfight. Like I said, you can pair this with pretty much any secondary for an absolutely great setup. Now on the Krig, I am running the Microflex LED, the takedown barrel for better range, the Field Agent foregrip for better control, the 40 round speed mag, and then finally the Raider stock for better mobility. Now class number 5 features the AUG tac rifle, which despite getting nerfed multiple times at this point, is still insanely good. I mean, it's a 1 to 2 burst in the vast majority of gunfights you're going to get into. It is super easy to use because it has next to no recoil thanks to it being a burst rifle. Plus, it's got that range that you need for those long distance fights and also the power you need for those close and medium range fights, so this is another great all-around weapon. Now here I've got the Holo Scout optic, and this is basically just like your standard holo sight. However, if you wanted, you could always trade this out for a different optic or even like a wrap. Then I've got the Task Force barrel for all the same reasons as before, the Field Agent foregrip, the 45 round speed mag, and then finally the Raider pad stock as well. Then moving on into class number 6, here we've got the Stoner 63. That's right, a rare LMG sighting on a top weapons list. But honestly, the Stoner is really fun to use in my mind because, well, it may be kind of slow compared to, the rifles or the SMGs. This is a powerhouse if there ever was one. Its ease of use is phenomenal. I mean, this thing is a laser beam. It takes absolutely nothing to control the very minimal recoil. And when it hits like a truck, that means you are going to be melting everyone. So here I've got the mill stop reflex, the infantry compensator for better control, the task force barrel, the field agent grip, and then also the SAS combat stock for better mobility. And then to close things out for today, we've got the MAC-10, and of course, this is the newest SMG in the game, but honestly, I would say this is more of like an honorable mention spot. This is a good SMG, don't get me wrong, but it's not like utterly insane. However, whenever we do the whole best weapons for season 1 or best loadouts for season 1 or whatever season it is, I always like to try and include the new weapons since obviously most people are trying to unlock those and use those as well. But here, this thing is just honestly really good for close range fights. The rate of fire is insane, so it takes a bit to get used to. It pretty much doesn't have range because of that fact. But here I'm using the infantry compensator, of course, to try and control the weapon a bit more. I've got the reinforced heavy barrel for better range and velocity, the field agent grip, the 53 round speed mag, then lastly the airborne elastic wrap. So yeah, there you have it. Those are the best setups to be using here in season 1 of Cold War, and that is going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, or if you just found it helpful, let me know by dropping a like on it. And of course, if you're new here and you want to stay up to date with pretty much everything going on in COD, from news to intel to updates to setups, you name it, you're gonna find it all right here on the channel. So feel free to subscribe with your notifications turned on. That way you'll always know whenever I upload a new video. As always, if you want to check out any of my partners, be sure to use code IMMORTAL for a discount on all Scuff, G Fuel, and Control Freak products, and the links for all those can be found down in the description below. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and until next time, take it easy, have an awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.